Hi, it's Jen. I'm back reading my book for people who don't like to read. This chapter is called Sorry. It's kind of a continuation of Other People's Kids. It's 2 chapters, but not really. It's whatever. Sorry! One of the most frequently played board games as a child. If you were born after cell phones were invented and only play computerized games online, or just a person that has a deep disdain for board games, then you may not be familiar with this old school form of entertainment / family bonding. Oh my God, I just took a momentary lapse from writing this to Google when Sorry was invented, thinking it would say sometime in the 1970s. Nope, 1929. WTF? That's what I wrote. What the fuck? They had board games in 1929? Did they even have running water back then? BRB. 1975. I do a lot of Googling while I'm writing. 1975, running water. Okay, I am way off on my ideas of the past. I thought people were basically bathing in rivers till at least the 1900s. Maybe I should abandon this writing hobby and go back to college. But back to Sorry. I had one brother growing up, Charlie. He was, and still is, 2 years older than me. As very young children, with the exception of an occasional short-lived, adrenaline-fueled bout of jumping across our shared bedroom furniture screaming, "The floor is lava!" we basically kept to ourselves with our own interests and hobbies. Mine mostly playing with frogs I befriended from the open dirt holes that led from my mother's garden to under our house. Charlie's, however, was a lot of introspective quiet time, putting together model airplanes and figuring out the strategic inner workings to the classic fantasy tabletop game Dungeons and Dragons. Guess who now owned a huge, glorious home on a hill above the ocean? Not me. I'll give you a hint. I'm writing this from the Whole Foods in Sherman Oaks. Not to mention, this morning I placed sunflower seeds on my condo porch in a desperate effort to entice my local neighborhood squirrels to come visit for lunch. Some fetishes never change. The happiness this cute, often overlooked vermin brings my day. I'm talking about the squirrel still. The frog was cute too. But back to the still thriving board game. I recently went to my brother's house, not to play with my now 52-year-old sibling, but instead with his 3 children, aged 12, 10, and 10. The second 2 are twins, in case you were concerned that I just stuttered while typing. I have visited them countless times since they were born, but mostly with them being at the age of coloring books and learning how to read. Then suddenly, with the COVID lockdown and the quick passing of time, there is a noticeable switch from children to tiny adults. On this latest visit, and to my great surprise, they had a newly acquired game of Sorry. I was hesitant, thinking it might now be boring, and maybe they don't even know the rules or how to play. I was wrong. Not just in their knowledge, but in what I would realize in the engagement. I always thought of useful board games as just a form of entertainment, something to keep kids busy. Now, as an adult playing with these still emotionally evolving and fragile youths, I see the importance of the way in which navigating and accepting the playful or often disappointing outcomes aid in shaping our approach and understanding of reality and the situations that will eventually be encountered and also need to be solved in the real world. That was like a long run-on sentence. I'm tired. There is the one confident nephew that knocks my game piece completely off the board. Just as I think I am making progress and moving ahead toward a winning future, but instead get knocked back to start over, not once or twice, but continuously throughout the game, forcing me to shamefully bend down and pick up my game piece. Like he literally knocks it to the floor. Why is it always the super cute kid that exudes this cockiness? Are they born with it? Do they already know they are adorable at such a young age? I don't remember having any sense of what good looking meant when I was only 10. I only cared about cookies and TV time. And then there is the other kid who cries when losing, mentally wrapped up in the demise of any possibility of taking the lead. not realizing that this dramatic reaction is only a reflection of the current play they are taking, and that this game can take a drastic sudden turn in their favor at any time if they don't give up. I guess these metaphors for life only become apparent after an age where we have actually lived enough years to experience them countless times before the lesson completely sinks in. How would a kid who has never had to scrape together the funds for their own breakfast burrito have any idea the lessons they're supposed to be learning? I just found another typo. Fuck. But also, I wonder if these kids do already understand the lessons presented on this cheap cardboard format. They are certainly learning faster than the average child I grew up with. I don't know what the new curriculum is in elementary schools these days, but they are way smarter than I was at that age. I think they may be way smarter than I am at this age, which is why I refuse to play 20 questions with my 10-year-old niece, Lily. It's a life lesson in ignorance that I was definitely not prepared for. When I was young in the 1980s, I remember hearing of a few issues older people suffer: wrinkles, trouble walking, cancer, and of course, possible dementia. Nobody warned me of the shame and embarrassment of a child looking at me like I suffer from a life of uneducated agony. 20 questions seems like a simple game at first. She asked me to pick an animal in my head, and then she has 20 questions to figure out what animal I'm thinking of. I make it till about question 2 before I have no knowledge of what she is inquiring about. She'll just ask me, like, is it a reptile or a mammal? And I'm like, I don't know. She is 10. I just hope by the time she is 20, I can use my acting skills to fake at least just a slight dementia to blame this Reagan-era educated brain on. And if not, I'll just hold some Sharpie pens up to her nose and explain to her that this is how we used to challenge our brains in my day. That's a weird ending. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed. You should go buy my book on Amazon and support me. Or just keep watching these videos.